This story is a saga that demonstrates how powerful the will and love for freedom of humanity can be, even on a galactic scale. In every struggle, every victory, and every loss, the courage and determination that lie deep within the human spirit shine through. This is the story of a struggle for freedom not just of one planet, but of an entire galaxy. In a distant future, humanity had spread across the galaxy, establishing colonies on different planets. Technology had made interstellar travel possible, taking humanity beyond the limits. However, this expansion came at a cost. The central government had become increasingly oppressive, and the people in the colonies were on the brink of rebellion. One of the farthest planets in the solar system, Xander, had become a symbol of freedom. The people of Xander had been oppressed for years under the heavy taxes and cruel rule of the central government. The underground resistance movement, the Legion of Liberty, was secretly organizing to launch a rebellion against the government. Cade, the leader of the resistance and a former military pilot, was determined to ignite the spark of this rebellion. In his youth, Cade had fought for the central government but switched sides after witnessing its cruel policies. Now, he was ready to fight for the freedom of the people of Xander. Cade and his team managed to gather all the resistance fighters by secretly sending messages to the colonies across Xander. People from every corner of Xander were arming themselves for the struggle for freedom. However, this was just the beginning. Similar movements had started in other colonies across the galaxy. Meanwhile, the central government's most powerful and ruthless commander, General Delos, was on his way to Xander with a massive fleet to quell the rebellion. Delos was known for his ruthlessness and strategic genius. His arrival posed a great threat to the resistance. Cade and the Legion of Liberty completed their preparations against General Thalos' fleet. The largest battle of the resistance began on Xander's surface and in its orbit. Both sides were suffering heavy losses, but the courage and determination of the resistance kept them standing. The surface of Xander had been prepared like a fortress by thousands of resistance fighters. Underground tunnels, strategically protected points with energy shields, and defense towers had been built. Cade made daily speeches to keep the resistance fighters motivated and reinforce their belief in the struggle for freedom. The resistance fighters used advanced technologies for the defense of Xander. Defense towers were equipped with high-energy plasma cannons, causing significant damage to enemy ships. The energy shields protected strategic points on the planet, rendering enemy fire ineffective. These shields were powered by Xander's underground energy sources and were constantly being renewed. When General Thalos' fleet reached Xander's orbit, the sky resembled the calm before a storm. Delos was to command the battle from his massive flagship. His fleet consisted of the galaxy's most powerful and advanced warships, each equipped with advanced weapon systems and energy shields. Thalos' flagship was larger and more magnificent than all the other ships. The exterior of the ship was covered with gleaming armor plates and bore the symbols of the Galactic Empire. The interior was filled with state-of-the-art control centers, strategy rooms, and weapon systems. Delos was to command the battle that would determine the fate of the galaxy from the bridge of this ship. The initial clashes took place in the depths of space. The resistance fleet had taken a defensive position in Xander's orbit. Thalos ships attacked with showers of laser cannons and missiles. The resistance fighters retaliated with plasma cannons and light spears. In the darkness of space, the explosions and energy bursts were like a light show. One of the most effective weapons of the resistance fighters was the light spears, which dealt piercing blows to enemy ships. These spears moved at the speed of light, destroying their targets. The plasma cannons sent high-energy plasma bursts to enemy ships, rendering them ineffective. On the surface of Xander, a fierce battle was taking place between the resistance fighters and Thalos soldiers. Delos had sent his specially trained elite units to the planet. These units, with their gleaming armor and advanced technology, presented a terrifying sight. However, the resistance fighters were fighting with the support and hearts of the local people. Thalos elite units were equipped with heavy armor and energy shields. Each was armed with advanced weapon systems and posed a significant threat on the battlefield. The resistance fighters countered these threats with their agility and combat strategies. They would emerge suddenly from underground tunnels to attack the enemy and then disappear again. At the height of the battle, Cade, with the help of an old friend, managed to secretly infiltrate Thalos' flagship. His goal was to neutralize Delos and end the war. However, Delos had anticipated Cade's arrival and was waiting for him. Cade used a special device developed by the Resistance to bypass the security systems of the flagship. He advanced through secret passages and service tunnels, approaching the bridge where the Los was located. The sound of footsteps echoing in the dark corridors of the flagship seemed to synchronize with Cade's heartbeat. As he approached his target step by step, the flickering lights on the cold metal walls of the ship heightened the tension. Cade stopped before the heavy door at the end of a dark corridor. Behind the door was his longtime enemy, General the Los, who had been waiting for him for years. Before opening the door, Cade took a deep breath. He didn't know exactly what he would face inside, but his determination was unwavering. When he opened the door, he saw the Los standing in the middle of a large hall. The Los was clad in dark armor, holding a glowing energy sword. His eyes shone with the experience and ruthlessness of years of war. The ceiling of the hall opened to a magnificent view of the galaxy through a large window at the top of the spaceship. Stars and distant planets appeared like a carpet spread out into infinity. The hall was surrounded by control panels and holographic maps filled with advanced technology. This was the center of Thalos power and control. The Los looked at Cade with a mocking smile. "You've finally come, Cade," he said in a deep and echoing voice. "But we both know the outcome of this encounter, don't we? You'll lose again." Cade drew his energy sword and faced the Los. "This time it's different, the Los," he replied. "This time I'm fighting for the freedom of my people." The Los tried to corner Cade with ruthless and fast moves, but Cade skillfully parried each attack with the experience and reflexes gained over the years. The battle was like a dance of the skills and wills of two old friends who had now become archenemies. The Los attacked with power and ruthlessness, while Cade defended with agility and strategy. With each move, the control panels and holographic maps around the hall were damaged, explosions and sparks flying everywhere. Cade noticed a weakness in the Los. He knew that Thalos' pride and anger were distracting him. The Los was getting more furious and aggressive with each move. Cade took advantage of a momentary opportunity and struck Thalos' weak point. The Los stumbled and was momentarily defenseless. This moment was the key to Cade's victory. Cade disarmed Thalos' energy sword and rendered him ineffective. The Los, breathless, had collapsed to the ground. "This is your end, the Los," Cade said, holding his sword to Thalos' throat. But instead of killing him, Cade decided to handcuff him and deliver him to justice. "We'll bring you to justice. For the freedom of my people." Thalos' capture changed the course of the war. The resistance forces took control of the flagship and repelled the remaining forces of the central government. Xander and the other colonies finally gained their freedom. Cade became known as a hero after this victory, but for him, the greatest reward was that his people were now free. In the control room of the flagship, Cade, while savoring the victory, began planning the future with Zoreth and other resistance leaders. They would work together to establish a new order in the galaxy, ensuring peace and justice. However, the great rebellion that took place in different corners of the galaxy had not only affected human colonies but also other intelligent life forms in the galaxy. With the success of the rebellion, Cade and the Legion of Liberty received a message from the depths of the galaxy. This message came from a species called the Icarians. The Icarians were a peaceful and advanced race fighting against an oppressive regime in another corner of the galaxy. The Icarians wanted to form an alliance with humanity and share their experiences. Cade decided to make contact with the Icarians. Their wisdom and technological superiority could greatly contribute to the newly established freedom regime. When the Icarians' leader, Zoreth, arrived on Xander, he was greeted with a grand ceremony. Zoreth was a tall, elegant figure with glowing eyes. His arrival had sparked both hope and curiosity. Zoreth held meetings with Cade and other leaders, sharing the technological and cultural knowledge of the Icarians. The Icarians' galactic maps and interstellar travel technologies had expanded humanity's horizons. This cooperation became a beacon of hope against other oppressive regimes in the galaxy. However, with the arrival of the Icarians, a new threat also emerged. The Kragglers, a warrior species living in the far reaches of the galaxy, had learned that the Icarians had formed an alliance with the humans and perceived this alliance as a threat. The Kragglers, known for their warrior and ruthless nature, decided to attack to turn the balance in the galaxy in their favor. Cade, Zoreth, and other leaders began organizing the united forces of humanity and the Icarians to prepare for the threat of the Kragglers. This new alliance would not only fight to preserve their freedom, but also to ensure the balance and peace of the galaxy. In the depths of the galaxy, the Great War against the Kragglers began. This war, with the united forces of humanity and the Icarians against the mighty warriors of the Kragglers, became the legend of a saga about the fight for freedom and peace in the galaxy. In the end, freedom and peace were achieved across the galaxy. The united forces of humanity and the Icarians had won. This victory was not just about military strength, but also about the power of unity, love, and the desire for freedom. Cade and Zorath had become legendary heroes and left a legacy of hope and inspiration for future generations. Thus, the story of the struggle for freedom, courage, and unity had ended, but it also marked the beginning of new tales and adventures. The galaxy now shone as a beacon of hope and peace in the universe.